3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular, mystery reading number 986. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and would like to help support it, you can do so by sticking around and hitting that subscribe button down below and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. And if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome, and thank you very much for your presence, as well as your support. Said that a little bit backwards. I feel for somebody here that you are feeling that the world operates in a backwards way. And I'll have to agree with you. So it might be helpful to recognize that it's not you, it's them. Whoever them may be. You could be dealing with some systemic issues. You may feel powerless against larger forces. And while in the moment, it really does feel like that, and it may even be true, there are a collective of people who know exactly how you feel and are doing everything within their power to become more powerful, to create change. And you may feel called to be a part of this collective. So while you can't do anything directly right now, maybe there's something here that you could stay focused on or invest in long term to push for change. And I know it's very frustrating to have to wait, to have to work harder than you should, and to be the little guy, I'll say. Let's just say that, sure, a mouse may be powerless against a cat alone. I mean, unless they're smart, if you've ever seen Tom and Jerry. But for the metaphor or analogy or whatever I was using, the more mice there are against one cat, the better. You may feel like, now this definitely doesn't have to resonate for everybody, but you could feel like you are playing cat and mouse, exactly like that TV show Tom and Jerry. Getting into interpreting the number 986. The number 9 is about purpose and helping the world release what no longer works. The number 8 is about loss and trusting that whatever is lost will be replaced. These two numbers are really what remind me of this collective, where they're feeling led by a sense of purpose and they're embracing change in their own lives. To help us release what no longer works collectively. They are trusting that the losses that they're experiencing right now will pay off. The sacrifices, in other words, they're making. They believe that these sacrifices are worth it. And what I mean by they, it's just normal everyday people. You know? People who are already awake. And the number 6 is about a choice between self-love and self-destruction. And I feel like this could be where you're at right now, a crossroads that you're at. This number 6 is here, if I didn't say it already. I don't think I did, but to encourage you to choose self-love, to be part of the group of people pushing for change by first creating changes in their own personal lives. It may even be helpful for you to trust in how connected we all are, to trust in your own impact, even if it feels small. I always like to remind people that you do have an impact on other people, whether it's positive or negative, and they may just not tell you. I'm just really feeling how, at the soul level, we are all so deeply connected. In a way, we're the same. At least on a foundational level. We all want peace and stability, and those of us who look like that's not what we want, they had that robbed from them. And never quite held their own faith and stuck to their morals, and that's on them. But you are in control right now. Even if it feels like you are powerless and you don't have control, you do have a level of control, and you're not powerless. You have the power to be the change that you wish to see, and to trust in other people who are following that same path. Especially these days in 2025, where a lot of weird stuff is happening and coming to light. I feel like now is a good time to recognize the real evidence that you're not alone. I do think that we are all collectively, when it comes to making our decisions, we're being called to, consider which direction is about love and which one is about hate. I was going to say destruction, but just want to remind you, if you didn't already know, that destruction can be a good thing. A tower moment can be a good thing. I love comparing so-called beautiful destruction to tornadoes, because while they're very destructive and devastating, to me, in my opinion, they are really beautiful to watch, because it's just something so powerful. Interesting how that kind of feels like it came full circle a little bit. Maybe you do feel called to be destructive, but not in a hateful way. In a loving way. Which is funny, because how can you be destructive in a loving way? Well, in a world that's built on hate, love certainly can destroy. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to recognize that during this reading. It's something I always knew, but I've never said it that way or really thought about it in that powerful of a way, I guess. Adding up these numbers, 9 plus 8 is 17, and 17 plus 6 is 23, which that could be a significant number for somebody on their own. 2 plus 3 is 5, which is about change and transformation, exactly that energy of destruction. Because, change, it can feel uncertain. It can feel like loss. I feel that you are feeling called and guided to transform and change as a person, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. And this inner transformation will manifest positive changes in your life. When you change positively, you'll see that in other areas of your life. When you change negatively, you'll also see that in other areas of your life. Change really is a double-edged sword. I just heard a weird noise in my headphone. I think the reason why I heard it is because I'm using my laptop with Bluetooth headphones to listen to a meditation audio track while I'm recording this, and I'm also editing a video at the same time, and sometimes it can make weird noises. But anyway, yeah. Embrace the positive change. Even though it may be hard or difficult, in the long run, it will definitely be worth it. Not just for you, but also for your own impact on the collective. It really will. And, it may take some time to see your own impact, and that's okay. Because sometimes, it's not, making a difference and having an impact is always a good thing. But first and foremost, it is always about yourself. Making sure you have a better life because you deserve it. And it can be for making a difference too, but I believe that it should be rooted in the fact that you deserve it, because when you make it about what you deserve, nothing can stop you. If you make it about an impact, if you're not seeing it, you're going to start thinking, oh, it's not worth it, and it'll stop you. So, especially when we're thinking about a choice between self-love and self-destruction, really, truly, and seriously, choose self-love. I'm going to move into the cards portion of this reading, which we're going to draw out 7 cards from these playing cards. I actually remember where I did get them. If you've seen a reading recently where I was like, I don't even know where I got these. How do I describe this? It was for an event called, that I referred to as the WEBN fireworks. Where I'm from, WEBN is a radio station for rock music. And they had an arcade there, I think. But let's go ahead and draw out these cards. I just saw the number 222 on the timer, which I feel like is confirmation of choice. You could have a big decision to make here, many big decisions, and it's important to trust yourself when it comes to knowing what you deserve. I just had a card flip over. It's the 6 of Hearts. Loves making new memories. This is really making me think of your inner child and focusing on the joy in life. It's also about moving on from some sort of inner conflict that could be attached to an external conflict, but we're more focused on you, as I've established. Naturally, when you let go of the inner conflict, same thing will happen externally. That's how manifestation works. I did burp too, which I feel is confirmation to release the inner conflict. I feel like one side of you feels some type of way, positive even, and another side of you feels another type of way, or negative. And it's like you're fighting with yourself about what to believe, what to think, what to feel. And truth be told, I feel that this is more about how you deal with the unknown, really. Are you going to choose to focus on the good possibilities or the bad possibilities? Are you going to choose to have hope and be okay with being disappointed? Or and never try, never know if it was ever possible? Draw another card. It is the 8 of Clubs. It says movement, strong desire, recklessness. something is moving quickly. It feels like this is after standing up for yourself and really working hard towards something, holding your ground. Let's go ahead and pull out another card. We have the Seven of Diamonds. It says distracted. It's very interesting to see that, because when I talked about working hard, I was literally thinking of the Seven of Pentacles, which is also the Seven of Diamonds. So I feel like there is something that's important to work on, to focus on, but you're feeling distracted, whether it's by another person or your own negative thinking. Okay, so we have the Joker. I interpret this in many different ways. For this reading, I am feeling definitely this is confirmation of an inner child feeling and focusing on joy and the light that life has to offer. I'm also feeling something like a feeling of madness. And I think that you are a smart person. You might deal with bipolar disorder. Now, only take that if it resonates, if it's something that you already know or may suspect or believe. I'm not here to diagnose or anything like that. But I feel like you do feel this power within you. But sometimes you hit a wall and you just suddenly, you don't trust yourself, you don't believe in what's possible, very negative, very pessimistic, and very frustrated. And I feel like this could come from having to work so hard. And trust me, I absolutely know what that feels like. And in my experience, the only thing that has truly helped me is just focusing on what I do have and appreciating that. It doesn't always work, sometimes I just gotta let myself be upset. Maybe you have to too. But it does help. Appreciating what you do have and recognizing that things really could be worse. I personally try to, I don't have what I want in life. I don't always necessarily feel safe and secure. But in this moment, I know that I am comfortable and I am taken care of. It might be good for you to practice staying present. We have the Queen of Hearts. It says loving and giving. Now this is about you or someone else. This is somebody who is full of love, warmth, light, very empathetic, very intuitive, very nurturing. And if this is about just you, I feel that this is about, I guess, what you could call mothering yourself or reparenting yourself, especially with the inner child type of energy coming through. How can you soothe yourself? Bring yourself back down to earth. If this is about somebody else, I feel like this is confirmation for you to reach out to somebody for support that you know is more empathetic and giving and understanding, and maybe even can help remind you of your worth and what you deserve. We have the Jack of Hearts. It says interest. This Jack of Hearts is looking at this Queen too. Maybe you could have a love interest or somebody's interested in you. When it comes to love, only take that if it resonates. But I do think that regardless of whether this is just you or another person as well, it's important for you to tap into your passion, your own emotions. There's just so much focus here on paying attention to the light in life instead of dwelling in the dark. Last card I have here is the Nine of Spades. Anxious, scared, and nightmares. I am really getting strong inner child. You may be losing sleep overthinking. Maybe you feel unsafe and insecure at times like I do. And really the best thing that you can do for yourself is really love yourself, or reach out to people who do love you. And even if you don't know who to reach out to, it's okay. Well, that on its own is okay. But it's also okay to seek out that support, to look for a community that you feel connected to and supported by. It could even be helpful for you, especially if you feel alone but you don't want to go searching, to just remind yourself that you're not in this fight alone. There are people out there healing alongside you, dealing with a lot of change, working very hard, trying to understand their younger selves. In general, this world needs a lot of love. It really does. A lot more. But I believe that the only way we're going to bring that into the world more is learning how to love ourselves first. You don't have to sit there and feel helpless. I personally see that, like, when I'm in a similar position, I have two options. I just saw the number 1, 2, 3, which is a sign to trust that everything happens for a reason. Maybe 3 options. Maybe just trusting is helpful. But the 2 options that I was originally talking about is trying to analyze my own thoughts, my own perspectives, and how I can change them to feel more uplifted, more supported, more loving towards myself, or trusting in the universe. Or if I'm feeling particularly stubborn and frustrated and just upset and like, I don't even want to talk to you, universe, I don't want to talk to nobody, all you can do is just let yourself be and let yourself feel. Because when you do that, you're allowing yourself to process these emotions, these thoughts. And I also want to remind you that if you're dealing with anger, I just saw the number 222. First off, choose self-love over self-destruction or self-hate. But remember that sometimes anger is not about releasing it. Sometimes it's just about repurposing it to invest in people and situations that we're passionate about, to help keep us motivated and inspired to keep working hard, you know? I feel like that really helps get rid of the distraction.